Greetings and welcome to the Ripple Effect. I am Selena. So today's topic, we're going to jump right in, and I want to talk about online dating. And I know in this day and age, in this culture, it's very common to meet your future significant other through social media and online dating. Specifically, paying money on an app or whatever it is so that you can have access to other people who are dating online. And for us women, it is not, okay, hear me good, it is not the best thing for you. There are several reasons why. The first, I'm going to tell you, there was a lady who I used to work with, and she was an older lady, maybe in her mid to late 50s. Okay, and I think at the time she was married but separated, which in the eyes of the covenant and the Bible, you're still married. Okay, so she was meeting, I guess, and I mean meeting meaning talking to, not actually meeting people in person, IRL, online. And so she came to me one day after work and she was like, Selena, can you help me find this person online? She thinks that she was like getting scammed and whatever. So we was just talking about how she met this gentleman, and I'll just call him Gentleman A because I can't remember his name. And when I make up names, somebody might think I'm talking about their man, and I'm not. Okay, so Gentleman A she met, and he professed to be, I think, in the military. Red flag that you met online, okay? Because when a guy says that I'm gonna just tangent. When a guy says he's in the military and that you have met him online, it's easy for him to say, oh, I'm not available right now. You know, the government got me doing something, or he's in a different town, or he's traveling, or you're only gonna see him once in a blue moon because he's working on secret missions, whatever have you. Take note, that's a red flag. So she was telling me about Gentleman A, and she had showed me a picture and how, she said she liked how he looked. And then the more she kept talking, the more the truth started coming out. She's like, yeah, I've, been talking to him and sending him money. Your hard working money. Oh, my dear Bambino. So she talks about how she has been sending him money, and I asked, like, really? A person who you've never met, who's just sweet talking you through some messages, you have come off of some change? And so I asked, okay, well, how much? She told me $2,500. I don't think I laughed in her face. I really tried to remain professional. But I could not believe that you have given money, $2,500 of your money, to a person you have never met. Now, mind you, I could tell, okay? I don't even know if she is a subscriber to my channel, but know that this is coming from a place of love. So when she had told me that she had given this person $2,500, and Gentleman A, she wanted me to help look him up. So when we did reverse image search, which you can do nowadays thanks to technology, the picture was attached to someone who had ran scams. Now, the real person, who knows who that person was? Because clearly Gentleman A was not the person in the photograph. It was some other mysterious person behind the screen finessing her out of her dinero, okay? And it wasn't just one lump sum. It was over a period of time that she was giving out this money. And she had told me, like, yeah, when I used to go to Western Union or wherever it was to send money orders over to a different country, they would tell her, like, hey, Miss Lady, I think you're getting scammed. I don't think you should be giving your money over. She's like, no, he loves me, and I guess we're in a relationship. I don't know, but come to find out, it was not true. She just got finessed out of $2,500. Now, I don't know if she still continued to talk to the gentleman. Now, I believe it was because she was in her middle age and she was very lonely. She had all adult children, and it was companionship. They used to have a saying for it, like love letter scams or something like that. And basically, this might hurt someone's feelings, but lonely, desperate women who are rushing God's timing have a tendency to come up off that change when they think someone is interested in them. And the most important thing, she never met him. Never, ever met him. They were communicating through text messages and I believe through the phone. Now, how she wasn't able to pick up a foreigner's accent, I'm not sure. So for me, I felt genuinely bad for her that this type of situation has happened to her. And, I talked to her and I tell her, you don't have to go through things like this. Like, I'm sorry, like it happened to you. And I have watched documentaries on women who have been finessed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of them millions. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if you have millions of dollars just to throw away, you didn't want to donate it to some local charity or help out someone less fortunate, you rather take the money and pay for conversation. Now, if that's the case, okay, let's say that's what it is. You want to pay for some sweet nothings being whispered in your ear, a few good morning texts, and some good night boo-boos, I love you, then say that. The problem is a lot of us women get so manipulated, not only out of our money, but out of our panties. Because when you're doing online dating and you have no idea who this person is, it could be Jeffrey Dahmer's brother, what's the little other crazy person, Tom something, I don't know, people who are psychopaths, who are on the internet looking for another victim. Now, I had watched this documentary about a lady who had met someone online. Now, I can't remember the name of the online dating app, I guess. But I don't even think she got 24 hours of oxygen while she still was with him. They met one time, and that was her last time, okay? She was cut up in so many pieces, I don't even think the family was able to have a proper burial. All because of meeting a stranger online. Now, for me, hey, this is a Christian channel, okay? So you're going to get some things where you should, 1, be in your prayer closet. 2, stay out of the bed trying to do the box spring boogie. Stay out of there if you're not in covenant and you're not married. So there are some things that can help, okay? This is not some broad spectrum rule that can really protect you 100%, but that can help you if you are obedient to God's word. And so I can understand the test, especially if you're a single mother and you are feeling abandoned or you're feeling lonely and you're thinking, hey, it's okay to just meet this person online. It's no harm. It's no foul. And let me tell you something. There was a lady who I met, who I was working with, and she might have been in her 60s, maybe 64, 65, and she was trying to talk to me about online dating. I'm like, look at here, man. She was trying to say that, it's no harm, it's fun, okay. And it's not to say that you can't have a conversation with someone, but if you're walking in this thing with blinders on, thinking you're going to meet God's sent son for you, and you know nothing about this individual but what he tells you. You haven't ran a criminal background check. You should. You don't know his friends. You don't know his family. You don't know where he work at. All you have is what he is telling you through a few text messages. And some of y'all don't even FaceTime, don't even get to see if the face you got in the picture, is that true? And yes, I understand there are things that can be manipulated and FaceTime may not always be accurate. But the problem is when we are going into online dating, looking for a relationship, and in reality, God has told us to wait. That's why you haven't met him at the grocery store or at the barbershop, beauty salon, or maybe at the beauty salon. I don't know. But just in your normal day-to-day life, it's because God may have you in a waiting season. And I know, I hate to wait. I do. I'm not even going to lie in front like it's easy, because it's not. But sometimes God has us in a waiting season so that we can work on us, our own selves. There are women who are so desperate, I'm going to say that, and ready for a relationship. They don't even know much about themselves. They're a broken individual who haven't healed from their previous relationship, yet they hopping all online in someone's DM, which, I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you have to tell a guy that you like him, you're the first person making the first move out of order. Out of order. I'm going to just go ahead and say it's out of order. That's not how God ordained it to be so. And I know we're in this new age, 2024, and if this doesn't apply to you and you want to be the one shooting your shot for a man first, then you go right ahead. But for the rest of us, okay, who are trying to be patient and who want to wait for God's timing, I'm telling you, online dating is not the way to go. Unless you are really in your prayer closet and God has told you, hey, you're getting ready to meet your significant other through this particular dating app. There are some ladies who have met a man, and like I said, this is not just pertaining to online per se. It's not a a fail safe. But if you're meeting a person in person, and all you're doing is texting, that's it. You don't spend any time together. You're talking, maybe once every other day or 3 or what have you. You're not in a serious relationship. There are people who talk about they have a relationship and the person's in another country. Now, to each his own. If you believe that you're really in a God-ordained relationship with someone who's in another country or another state or same state, but y'all 8-10 hours away, okay, you may believe that. But I'm going to encourage you to get in your prayer closet about that one. But the lady who I met who was talking about dating a person online, and she had met this person online, and she ended up paying, giving him $2,500. Part 2, okay? So the second thing, okay? That was the first warning that maybe God has given her, that she needed to wait on his timing. Now, like I said, okay, she was still married. She said she had been separated, I think, 10 years, something like that. But to me, in 10 years, divorces are not that expensive. Unless you really have Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Tyler Perry money, it's really, if you have a bunch of assets, then it's going to cost you. But over 10 years, you can save up your nickels, your pennies, your quarters, and get them together to afford a divorce. That is an excuse that a lot of people say, oh, it's so expensive, I can't afford it. Really? If you trust, let me tell you something, okay? I had to go through a divorce. And it's because I saved my nickels and my pennies to afford it, so I wouldn't be attached to that demon for many more years than I already was. So it is very much possible. So this lady who was still married but separated, okay, I would say maybe a year later. I don't even think it was a year later, okay? Word around the office was she was getting married. Now, I didn't know she was dating someone. I think it might have been, the work mill gossip, that she was dating someone who, now I don't want anyone to take offense to what I'm going to say. These are simply the facts. Now, she was an American citizen, okay? And she was dating someone who was not. So much so, there was a language barrier. She's speaking English. I won't say what language he was speaking, lest anyone get further offended. All I know is, how can you be in a committed, godly marriage, okay, or relationship headed for marriage, and you don't even speak the same language, okay? Don't y'all know about the Tower of Babel in the Bible? There was confusion there because they did not speak the same language, okay? So she's supposed to be getting married, okay? And there started to be problems to arise. Now, one of the problems was that he needed an attorney that was going to cost $10,000. $10,000 for an attorney because there was legal issues, being that he was not a U.S. citizen. Then, okay, she still was working on trying to get a divorce from her current husband. Strike two. Then, okay, he was a Catholic who wanted to get married in a Catholic church. She was professing to be a Christian. Do not be unequally yoked. So then he wanted to get married in a Catholic church. According to her, okay, don't take my word for the gospel, there's a lot of steps with getting married in a Catholic church. Being that, one, she had already been married and was working through her divorce. They would not marry her and him in a Catholic church, also because she was not a Catholic. So what did she do? She started attending classes so that she could convert herself to Catholicism. Then she told me, okay, isn't it getting good? Then she told me that he told her, like, yeah, since we can't get married in a Catholic church, I guess we can do justice of the peace. But, you know, I don't want the words Jesus or God in our vows. Who you think created marriage? And you don't want him a part of it? And I don't know, I lost count on how many red flags, blazing, fire-hot flags those were. But do you know she continued to press forth and marry this individual? Now, I haven't spoken to her and it's been a while. And so I hope and pray that she is doing well. But the decisions that she was making, the life lessons that we can take from it. One, to get in our prayer closet and wait on God's timing. Now, when there are things, God will have things happen in our life where there may be a few obstacles here and there to help us become stronger, to help us to become overcomers and confident. So there are some things that we may go through in life to build our character. But when there are trials and there are several, not just hurdles, but brick walls, okay, that you just get in your bulldozer and just busting through. It ain't meant for you, sis. It's not. And the fact that she kept going through hurdle after hurdle and brick wall after brick wall, like they don't want to marry us in the church. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to the justice of the peace. You don't want God a part of the vows? That's fine. We'll say our own. I'm still married, and that's the issue. It's okay. Let me go ahead and get this divorce that now I can afford. You're not a U.S. citizen, and it's going to cost me $10,000. Not that he was paying, that she was paying. Okay, let me bust through that brick wall again. And so when I saw this life story, like these were her real life decisions, all I could do was pray for her. That's all I could do. Because she wasn't open to revelation. Because when someone is making decisions that clearly is an issue, her family was telling her that this was not a good idea. Her kids did not like, her adult children that she had did not like this individual. It was a lot of things going on. So much so, none of her family was at the justice of the peace marriage. And all these things were happening, and she still thought it was a good idea. And I'm not sure what he was thinking, but I can tell you one thing, okay? He was willing to marry someone who did not speak the same language as he did, who was willing to spend thousands of dollars for him to get his legal situation with him not being a U.S. citizen. She's willing to go against her family, the children she birthed into this world, for a man who she has known, I think, a couple years. Matter of fact, he knew that she was married. Just a whole fire, like whoosh, like a whole fire of red flags around this whole thing, and she still ignored it. She still pressed through. And I just want to put this PSA out there. We have to be willing to trust God's timing, even when we're feeling lonely, even when we're feeling abandoned, even when we might be feeling desperate. To trust God's timing that he will have the perfect person just for you. And I know that's not easy to digest, especially we're in the cooler months, and they call it cuddle season or what have you. And then we have the holidays, Thanksgiving. You want to show up with the boo thing. You got Christmas, New Year's. You want to have your New Year's kiss, like all those things. And then Valentine's Day is coming up, all those things. And if you let the enemy play in your face and in your mind and in your thoughts and have you thinking like, I'm nothing without a man. Who am I without a man by my side? If you are letting the enemy convince you of that, understand you were born alone. Understand that God has a purpose just for you, and it's not predicated on whether you have a wedding band on your finger, yet alone someone in your bed keeping it warm, if that's what you're doing. So I'm just here to put this PSA out there that if you're going to do online dating, and let me hurry up because look, the sun's setting and there's all kind of shadows in this video, but prepare yourself. Don't run into a relationship and fall into love. You shouldn't be falling into anything. You're allowed to trip and fall, chip a tooth for something. Walk in that relationship. Take your time if that's the avenue that you want to choose, because you've been warned. So be careful when you're entering, especially if it's social media like IG or Facebook, whatever it is, which is becoming very common to meet people on. Just be careful. And I know I said I'm closing, but I have to mention this very important thing. Be careful dating a stranger when you have children. There are several women who are probably watching this channel who have real battle scars, probably seeing a therapist because of what their mother's boyfriend or their stepfather did to them because it wasn't properly vetted before the relationship. And don't think that doesn't apply if you have little boys. It still does. There was a news report out maybe a month or two ago about this lady who was dating a man who was, I think he was a barber and a deacon in the church, something like that, which you better pay attention to the folks that's in the church you want to date. That doesn't necessarily give you the green light to be like, oh, he's a man of God. Search them more. Okay? And so she was dating this particular man. She had a son who was, I think, 4 or 5. She was letting him babysit the son. He was sending her pictures of them out in the park and everything. And do you know what he did to that little boy? He busted him upside his head and his body with a 2x4. Killed him dead. Her only child. Because she thought the person that she met was good enough to be around her children. So that is your PSA. If you out there and you have a man who is not the child's father watching over your kids, you better put a baby cam or something up in your house. And you need to really vet this man to know that you can trust him with your children. Because there are some ladies whose children can't even speak. They still dribbling at the mouth, barely got 2 teeth in the mouth, and you're leaving them alone with a total stranger. And God has entrusted us to be caregivers of that child. Especially when the other father, it's not other father, the biological father is not taking care of that child. It's our responsibility. I know it sucks because you feel like it was both of us in the room. I just didn't have him by myself. Well, you sure birthed him alone. He's yours now. There's no need to cry over spilled milk and be like, oh, I don't want all the responsibility of taking care of this child by myself. Well, I'll tell you one thing you shouldn't have did. But we're there now. Here we are. Here we are. And we have that sole responsibility. We should take it seriously. I see so many mothers just letting any old body with 2 arms and 2 legs just to watch their children. They don't care if the person drink, smoke, do drugs. They don't care. They're just having someone because you're tired and you're exhausted of being a single mother. So sometimes you're like, I just need to get the baby out of my hair. Just for all it takes is 1 second to drop a baby. So understand, ladies, it's not a game when you're out there dating. We think it's all fun and it's all cute and the pictures we could post. Understand, it's not a game. There are real life predators out there who prey on single mothers just because, one, your guards are already down because you're feeling like, I don't have a tribe, I don't have anyone necessarily protecting me because the biological father is not in the child's life. So that's already an opening that some men, not all, some men will use against you. So you have to be willing to protect your children by any means necessary. And not just be so ready for a relationship that you're swinging open your legs and also your house doors. You just let any old body come in and out. We have to be more accountable for how we raise our children. I understand this is an unpopular thing to say, but so be it. I'm going to say it anyway. We have to be careful when we're mothers and single mothers about who we allow around our children. And so with that being said, ladies, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and become part of the OAC Nation.